It's another Wednesday night, and you know what it is we do at this time on Wednesday nights. Tonight, it's quite exciting, as I'm sure most of you are excited about what is trending in the country, the build-up to the 2023 general elections. On that premise, the National ESCO of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC met and came up with a stand on 7 APC governors, among other resolutions. Find out President Buhari's take-home message from the meeting for party members. Also, the bench is bracing as it welcomes new members to its fold. We have quite a bit on women, a mixed grill of the good, the bad, and the ugly narratives. There is a chunk on security with all the latest happenings around it. We have an array of special reports revolving around plastic waste problem, Nigeria's blockchain ecosystem, and of course, the interesting expose on drug use disorder that should interest you. Now, these are just a tip of what tonight's package is all about. So why don't you just sit back and let's serve you the whole package. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Yen John, still standing for your regular anchor, Fatima Umar Buba, and this is News Extra. Welcome. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Hanire, has been directed to submit a progress report to the presidency on indigenous production of vaccines in the country before the end of next month. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive while granting audience to the leadership of the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceutical Industries Consortium. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries Consortium, made up of European biotechnology companies Merck, Unizima, Romlak and Fredlab, are collaborating with a Nigerian startup to establish a world-class biopharma industrial complex for the manufacture of vaccines and essential therapeutics in Nigeria.
On the completion, the plant will be the largest, highest quality, lowest cost producer of vaccines and therapeutics in the West and Central African region. This also means that the project shall become one of the major hubs for vaccine manufacture in Africa, as envisaged by the EU and the African Unit Partnerships for African Vaccine Manufacturer, PAVM. It will thus attract and be eligible for continental patronage and support.
Describing food and medicine sufficiency as national security issues, President Buhari asked the health minister and his team to work closely with the consortium on the federal government support required for the actualization of the project within the next few months.
While the Ministry of Health continues to drive collaboration with investors for vaccines, pharmaceuticals, and medical devices in a move towards self-sufficiency, I welcome the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries Consortium's desire to partner with the federal government in support of our agenda and look forward to the implementation of the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries project as it takes shape, with assurance that Nigeria has a market and a pool of expert scientists to draw upon from within and outside the country.
Recounting the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on Nigeria's health system and how some nations, being centers of biopharmaceutical productions, adopted a me-first attitude towards securing their citizens, the president wants Nigeria to make a bold statement in this field because of its knock-on effects on the nation's economy.
Key lessons of the pandemic are that nations can be brought to their knees by disease outbreaks that cripple national and international trade. Under my directive, the Minister of Health has been conducting local and international high-level consultations to seek access to the know-how and finance to revive domestic manufacturing of vaccines. this has become more important as Nigeria prepares to fully transition from Kabi support for the supply of vaccines by 2028.
The president said, having witnessed the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on health, communal life, and the economy, Nigeria, which is yet to fully recover, is not unmindful of the fact that the wealth of a nation is dependent on the health and well-being of its citizens. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from health, President Muhammadu Buhari says the Boko Haram insurgency has neither religious nor ethnic underpinning, and majority of Nigerians now know the truth with education and concerted public engagement. In exchanging views with the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Karim Ahmed Khan, the president explained that Boko Haram is a perversion of religion rather than Islamic ideology. President Buhari said, God is justice, and therefore no one can kill innocent people and shout, God is great, explaining that either the person does not know God at all or is simply being stupid. The president noted that the insistence by the terrorist group that Western education is forbidden is also very fraudulent. The government, he stated, is fighting them, educating the people and succeeding significantly. The ICC prosecutor said extremism is like cancer, which spreads and can also recede, noting that what Boko Haram does in collaboration with Islamic State of West African province is perversion of religion. He said the ICC believes in complementary, which promotes collaboration as against confrontation. Mr. Ahmed Khan counseled Nigeria and other Lake Chad Basin countries to get the United Nations Security Council to refer their atrocities committed by the terrorist groups operating in the region to ICC for investigation and possible trial. Now talking politics, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Adamu, says 7 APC governors remain leaders of the party in their respective states. This was part of resolutions at the 11th National Executive Committee meeting of the party, which also wants members to always act in accordance with the party's constitution. Salihu Gwanara reports.
This highest decision-making organ of the party is meeting to reposition and commit party supporters as united members of the progressive family ahead of 2023.
A new APC administration, succeeding this APC administration, is a huge challenge facing us. It is a task God has placed upon our shoulders. It is a task we must successfully carry out. We promise you here and now that we shall deliver by the grace of God.
In line with the party's constitution and the increasing political activities, the National Executive Committee has transferred its powers to the National Working Committee.
And it's understandable because we have such a short time to comply with the INEC and Electoral Act regulations.
And I believe all of them are dedicated and they will deliver on the mandate given to them.
We cannot be summoning NEC meetings as frequently as we should. And NEC cannot be attending to so many matters as we are having that will come up.
The extraordinary emergency National Executive Committee meeting also adopted the party's timetable and schedule of activities ahead of the 2023 general elections. Accordingly, expression of interest and nomination forms for all elective positions from state houses of assembly to that of the president is between 2 million to 100 million naira.
Now, our special convention for presidential primaries is being to hold between Monday, 30th of May to Wednesday, 1st of June, 2022.
Members have resolved to rededicate themselves to propagating the progressive democratic ideals of the APC and its government. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Buhari has made a strong case for the leadership and members of the All Progressives Congress to continue to make unwavering sacrifices as well as needful compromises towards forging the unity of purpose as the 2023 general elections draw near. Addressing an extraordinary emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party, the president warned against imposition of unpopular candidates for elections and the tendency to develop cliques if the party wants to win well and retain power. State House correspondent Adam Musambo brings us the details.
This is the first meeting of the National Executive Committee of the governing APC since the last national convention of the party that produced the Abdullahi Adamu-led National Working Committee. During the convention, dominated by consensus, some aspirants who desired to serve had to withdraw their aspirations for the overall interest of the APC, which President Buhari considered as an honor to his person.
I want to assure Mr. Chairman and the entire National Working Committee members of my full support. You came at a critical time, and the entire party has a high expectations from you. The principal challenge before you is the need to forge a united front for the party. It is our responsibility to keep creating and sustaining compromises among party leaders and members across the country. We will identify elements and factors that will facilitate it. I stand ready at the service of the party and the country.
And holding the party's constitution, President Buhari insists that due process must be followed at all times, while more mechanisms must be developed against corruption.
I call on all party members to abide by all extant laws, rules, and regulations, and to leaders of our party to avoid imposition of candidates that cannot win popular elections. This dictatorial behavior cost us many strategic seats in the past. Our success in 2023 will depend more on our capacity to respect our own extant rules and regulations.
In their goodwill messages, both the Progressive Governors Forum and the National Assembly members of the party poured encomiums on President Buhari for his leadership, guidance, and commitment to the governing APC and indeed the country.
You have shown commitment more than any other president in the history of this country, and this administration has spent more resources trying to arm our armed forces and provide resources for our security agencies to fight insecurity that bedevils us. I believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm so confident and optimistic that before we leave in 2023, Mr. President would have secured our country.
And we are confident, Mr. President, with what we have seen, with what our achievements have been, the future is bright.
The NEC meeting strongly advised all those who have cases against the governing APC in the courts to withdraw, put faith in the mechanisms of the party, and support it towards achieving the goal of success in the forthcoming elections. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And to talk more on the NEC meeting is the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, who is right here in the studio. Many thanks for joining us, Felix Walker.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Okay, so let's begin. The 11th NEC took lots of decisions. Can you give us a take-home message from these decisions?
Yes, there are two major points on which decisions were made. One was the motion to devolve some of the authority of NEC to the NWC, the National Working Committee of the party. And this is, again, given the period that we now face of primaries. NEC is, the highest organ of the party, after the National Convention. And it has constitutionally assigned responsibilities to, govern the party, and has key roles that it is, mandated to play in the conduct of our primaries. Now, because NEC itself cannot be summoned every day or every week because of the statutory notices that are required to be given for NEC to meet, the party thought it expedient to delegate some of those functions to the NWC so that the process of our primaries can be, somewhat seamless in its conduct.
Okay, seamless in its conduct. Now that the National Working Committee has the full powers, what should members expect?
Members should expect that the NWC will exercise these powers, responsibly, to the utmost good of the party and to advance the party's best interest, during this critical period of primaries and beyond the primaries, looking towards the election. But having said that, the other major piece of decision that was taken today was the approval of the schedule of activities for our primaries. Both the dates for each of the activities as well as the fees that, those who aspire, the aspirants, are required to pay.
So I'm going to ask you now, yes, talking about that specifically, talking about the timetable and schedule of the party activities, we're talking about the prices now for the different, positions that people would be vying for the 2023 elections.
Yes.
Talking about the fee, do you think it's okay, not too high? Because we hear that the presidential nomination forms is about 100 million naira.
No, the presidential expression of interest form is 30 million and the nomination form is 70 million. Yes, that's a total of 100 million. Yes, the party thinks that these figures are reasonable in the circumstances. Now, this is a party of nearly 45 million members. If you wish to run for the office of president, for example, the members are there. Go test your popularity. Have members, even now, at this elementary stage of the process, begin to support your vision and your aspiration. This is what happens in many other democracies, where people look to. Obama became president, not because he had, billions of dollars in his account, but he looked up to, party men and women, and even independents who are not necessarily Democrats, to help raise finances for his run. So again, we are trying to also evolve a new culture that really requires those who aspire to govern to begin at the primary level to engage with their supporters and members of the party
get the funds
to
from
help them support their vision and their ambitions.
That's a great way to go. 2023 is just months away, and of course, looking at the party convention you had, some weeks ago.
Correct.
Do you think that the party is united enough to face, the pressure come 2023?
Yes, we are very united as can be, in any human organization. But again, some of the focus of implosion and unraveling that was made before the convention didn't materialize. We came out of the convention even stronger. Yes, there are issues that we're dealing with and that we're committed to dealing with. New chairman and the new NWC have expressed, total commitment to this idea of, building the party together. So, all of the naysayers, I think that, hopefully they will be disappointed because we intend to pull every string and pull every, resource, both material and human, to ensure that we come off our primaries even stronger than
You're a very
we were before
optimistic
now.
party
Yes,
man.
I'm an optimist, yes.
Okay, so I'm wishing you the best, of course, as you prepare for 2023. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, now heading to Kaduna State. The former Assistant Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Abubakar, has signified his interest to take over from Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai at the expiration of his tenure as Governor of Kaduna State. He declared his intention to contest on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Suleiman Rigachuku reports that Bashir Abubakar is the latest entrant into the race in Kaduna State.
SCG Abubakar Bashir, in company of his campaign management team, arriving the State Party Secretariat of the APC for formal declaration of intent to contest for governorship of Kaduna State in 2023 general election. He told the party leadership that his desire to sustain, continue, and add value to the developmental achievement of the El-Rufai administration in Kaduna State as reason for his aspiration.
Insecurity does not just come out of the blues. There must be reasons. And I believe my government will be able to go through all the previous white papers, suggestions by former leaders of the state, security agencies, traditional title holders, and even youth organizations. We have to even listen to the culprits for us to achieve what we want.
The campaign train later moved to the Kaduna Township Stadium for declaration to party members and supporters, where Bashir Abubakar assured women and youth of his plan to prioritize entrepreneurship training and skills acquisition, security maintenance, and harmonious coexistence if given the mandate to lead as governor of Kaduna State. Suleiman Rigachkun, NTA News.
Minister of Transportation Chibuke Rotimi Amechi advocates active participation of the traditional institution in the governance process. He made the appeal at a consultation meeting with traditional rulers in the southwest on his presidential aspiration. Oyinaya Kaluoka reports.
Ile-Ife, the ancient city in Osun State, rich in cultural history, gave a warm reception to the Minister of Transportation and his entourage. At the Oni of Ife's palace, the minister, accompanied by friends and APC stalwarts, called for consultation of traditional institutions and governance due to their closeness to the people and the critical role they play.
In the Imperial Majesty, one of the critical issues that I want this country to look at is the relevance of the traditional institution, because a lot of things are getting out of hand. No, you can't be a president in Abuja and know what is happening in Ife. Thank you for your...
Full of praises for the minister in the development of the transportation sector in Nigeria, they only prayed for him.
Pray for you from the throne of Oduduwa and on this throne of our ancestors.
At Ado Ekiti, the capital of Ekiti State, the traditional ruler gave his royal blessings and prayers to the minister.
To crisscross this great country of ours.
While at Ondo State Government House in Akure, where the minister was received by the deputy governor, he stated that federal government is committed to linking major cities and towns in Nigeria by rail.
We are going to consult Akure from Orele to Akure. It's not politics, it's awarded. It's awarded. Where are we? We are negotiating the loans. Once we finish negotiation, we'll commence construction.
Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
We're still talking politics as the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, has met with the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party and declared his intention to run for the office of the president come 2023. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It is the second time this week that the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party is playing host to some of its governors declaring intention to run for the 2023 presidential election. This Wednesday was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, accompanied by former Benue State Governor Gabriel Suswam, among others. He informed the PDP NWC that he has acquired requisite experience over the years to run the affairs of the country.
Why am I saying this? I've been tested, I've been tried, and I think I've been refined. And today, I think I can go for a gold amount for this party as PDP. I want to assure you that we are committed to running the most transparent and fair primaries in the history of the People's Democratic Party.
And ahead of the PDP presidential primary election, the PDP New Generation at a media briefing has enjoined the party's NWC to justify the confidence reposed in it by conducting an acceptable presidential convention come May 29, 2022.
We expect them to produce and present the best to us.
Members of the PDP New Generation believe that all the 17 presidential aspirants on the PDP platform are eminently qualified to run for the office of the president of the country. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Let's now leave politics for the politicians and talk about the third estate of the realm. You know, justice delayed is justice denied, and this is incontrovertible. So it's not surprising that in a bid to enhance the operations of the judiciary in Nigeria, in line with current realities, 7 new judges have been sworn in by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, to man the court and bring justice faster to those who seek it. Olabode Arewa reports on the ceremony.
A colorful event indeed, as their lordships took oath of office as new judges under the Nigerian Constitution. They include the SY Chief Registrar of the Federal High Court, Emmanuel Gako, Taye Mabel Shegun Bello, Bala Khalifa Muhammad Usman, Aminu Garba, Musa Sulaiman Leman, and Ahmad Gama Mahmood, who will all function as judges of the Federal High Court. Justice Joseph Adebayo Aina is now a judge of the High Court of the FCT. The appointment is sequel to presidential approval.
The appointment into the bench of the High Court or the Federal High Court means that there is going to be a distribution of the workload. That means better efficiency. That means quick disposal of cases because there will be now more time.
Bringing 6-7 more manpower, adding manpower to judiciary is a welcome idea.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, is optimistic about their competence, having been rigorously examined beforehand.
Appointment to the bench is not appointment to influence, or unholy alliance with people of questionable character that may appear before you in different guises and make you do what is offensive to the law.
Family, friends, and associates were on hand to celebrate with them on their new roles. The newly sworn-in judges have their work already cut out for them as they join their brother judges in attending to the workload of the courts, particularly in the run-up to the 2023 elections and the disputes that would arise from them. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Many thanks, Olabode. And away from the learned colleagues, President Muhammadu Buhari says he cannot thank the 9th National Assembly enough for sustainably demonstrating exemplary patriotism and putting the nation first in the discharge of its functions of law, making for good governance and effective service delivery to Nigerians. The president stated this while breaking the Ramadan fast with the leadership of the National Assembly. President Buhari admitted to have suffered a lot in his first term of office, working with the last National Assembly, saying if the same level of cooperation, collaboration and support existed between 2015 and 2019, much more would have been achieved by his administration for good of all Nigerians.
I'm lucky this is my second term that the leadership decided to understand me. My first term, I suffered, honestly. But this time, I'm having a damn good time. I congratulate the party for that. So I think we are very lucky that firstly, you secure your constituencies and the houses, again, by your sheer confidence, you have secured them.
Both the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajagbeamila take pride in the fact that the executive and legislature are making history together in bequeathing worthy legacies for posterity.
The National Assembly, the National Assembly Mr. President has never asked me, nor my brother, that we should go and do something like this. There was never a time to say, this is what I wanted to do. We believe that this group of members of the National Assembly will always do the right thing. And so to the glory of God, all members of the National Assembly have really contributed so immensely to the productivity and stability of the present parliament. It is not always that legislators can be this fortunate, because when you pass legislation that are so critical and you make contributions to national development, you feel on top of the world because you have also done something in the quest for national development. So we thank you most sincerely for always giving us that support. And what we pray for is for APC to continue with this unity to work hard, return our states, and maintain the National Assembly so that the good work that we have been doing, sir, will continue. There cannot be a better legacy than the continuity of what we have started. We cannot allow those people who defrauded Nigeria when Nigeria had surplus of everything to come back, because it will be turning the hand of the block back.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan there. And yes, we are at that point where we take our first breather. But when News Extra returns, we shall take you to the world of women, where you get to meet Ramatu, the taxi driver, and her inspiring story, as well as the fascinating piece on how rural women defy odds to feed families. Find out also the development that would soon see Nigeria producing safety helmets. Yes, locally. Do stay for these and more in just a moment.
Just with red and black. Just a moment. The refrigerator. Hello? Sunday. Sunday. Yes, my guy. Come. 1,000 naira. Buy me Airtel recharge card. You have what I said. 1,000 naira. Okay. The rechargeable of this one, no problem. We have it. Thank you. Okay. Oh. Sunday, don't finish me. I say 1,000 naira recharge card. You carry 8,000 naira of my money, go load up. Because money there your hand, Abi.
Oga, no. As I load the 1,000 naira, I use Airtel over Jara, turn them to 8,000 naira, just like that.
Get 8 times the value of any recharge, plus double data and 1,000 naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Sunday, go buy us. Okay. And make sure say they put over Jara for you.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Don't just wake up your child. Wake up the champion in them. Give them energy to help them win every day with Milo at breakfast. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
This commencement of the school feeding program is sequel to a March 29, 2020 presidential pronouncement by His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, directing the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, my humble self, to liaise the state governments to develop strategies on the continuation of the school feeding program, even though our children are at home as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us the food. Thank you, Federal Government. God bless Baba Buhari.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Thank you for the rejections that taught me to keep striving. Thank you for the long hours that taught me discipline. Thank you for the knockdowns that taught me to bounce back. And for the unexpected victories that taught me to never give up. Thank you for making me who I am.
Buy this bully. Now 3 can be my portion. People I say they happen for there. Almost level.
No, darling. After all of us now, PC dogs. Oh boy, let me the one place the 7 times a wolf. Bros don't get 5 times a wolf. And this I don't collect 6 times a wolf. This one now, wolf everywhere you go.
Whether you be new or old MTN customer, store up out with the boss spray everywhere you go.
Ah, Bobby, you gonna show.
The north is so beautiful. And the food, ooh, it's nothing like I have ever tasted before. The color.
Vibrant. What about the aroma?
The aroma, oh God. It smells just like this one.
It smells so good.
Yeah. Your Dambo Shinkafa tastes even better. How did you do it?
Onga seasoning. It's all the seasonings you need for great taste and aroma.
Onga, Mama's helping hand.
Glad to have you back. And just a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Now, I believe at some point you may have come across a female taxi driver. I mean, a lady driving a cab known as Kabu Kabu in our climb. So what was the first thing that came to your mind? A lady trying to prove the popular saying that what a man can do, a woman can also do? Or a lady simply trying to earn a living? Zainab Banu met one of the very few in Abuja and brought back this report for News Extra.
Some years ago, NTA, they interviewed Haji Ajumai that drive trailer of this Dangote. When I saw her, I said, this woman, she's over 50. Why me, that I'm not up to 50, I can't drive taxi? I said, okay, me, I'll break the record in Abuja to be one of the taxi drivers.
Also unemployed then, following her resignation from a private company for refusing to regularize her appointment after a decade, Ramatu says the offer to own a taxi of her own is a dream come true.
2008, I was among the people that run in Kogi State under migration. I did the interview, they did pick me. 2010, immigration interview in Stadium, I was there too. They did pick me. Civil defense, I was there for interview. They did pick me. So I have looked for government job. Since I finished my school, I did see government job. 2020, I heard the ordinary Ahmed is advertising a taxi. If you can drive, whether woman or man, you want to do higher purchase, you can drive, come and collect the taxi. So I went and applied for the taxi for 2 million for 2 years. I collected it. But by God's grace, by July this year, I'll finish the payment.
So from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 in the evening, Monday to Saturday, come rain, come sunshine, the diploma holder in library science from Bayero University, Kano, has for the last 2 years been on the wheels crisscrossing the streets of Abuja.
I bet it's different as a woman taxi compared to that of a man. She's calm and she's communicating, she's jovial.
He drives her car very carefully. She didn't drive anyhow with her from men.
For her colleagues, the sheer determination of the Kogi-born lady to survive in a male-dominated field is encouraging.
Formally, the women driving, they are not common. They only drive their personal car. But situation has become something else that they have to do anything to bring food to their table. It's not bad because since they are trying to live.
The women, there is no any difference between women and man inside this driving, inside this kabu-kabu. They are very, very perfect, very perfect.
Ramatu hopes to retire for a more befitting and lucrative job someday.
If the federal government can help me to give me another job, I don't mind. Essential uniform job. My dream all the day, all my life is to work with uniform work.
For now, she is proudly putting food on her table and those of her dependents, despite all odds. Zainab Banu, NTA News.
Thumbs up to Ramatu and other women that are changing the narrative and, of course, shattering barriers. Still on women, you all know they have over time proven to be partners in progress, both at the home front and in official engagements. No wonder some refer to them as nation builders as they record landmark achievements at any given opportunity within the week. Uche Chukwu Chibweze Adam ran into some women in Ebonyi State who, in spite of the hazardous nature of their jobs, are determined to pay the bills. Let's see this.
Not only are the women trailing the blaze in official assignments, even in difficult fields where they are seen competing favorably with their male counterparts, they also at the rural areas go out of their way to do all sorts of menial jobs just to keep food on the table. In Ebonyi State, for instance, they are the only folk that mine sands in most of the rivers. It is same at the quarry sites where the activities are left for them to do, just as they are the ones solely in rice husk business. Interestingly, these women leave their houses at the early hours to the various sites and end up going home after a day's job with paltry sums as their wages.
I will be carrying 20 bags, which is that 20 bag is 1,000 naira.
My husband hardly provides for us, so I came here because I need money. I pay my school fees from the money I earn here because I want to go to school.
For a woman to carry her baby to foreign sites and be carrying these foreign materials, stones and things like that, under that hazardous situation, it's terrible. But that is the means of their livelihood.
With particles that freely enter their eyes, nostrils, and other parts of their bodies, among other things, experts say that their health are obviously threatened.
You see them having breathlessness, so they can't climb long because they can no longer have the normal capacity. Those continuous irritations and injury on the lung tissues have reduced the very good parts, so they have a compromised lung capacity.
People are passing through a lot of stress, physical stress, psychological stress. And many of them don't know that their BPs are high. And so because stress can increase blood pressure.
How can the hazards they face be minimized or stopped?
There's a mask that sieves dust from entry. That's a respirator. So now it should be mandatory for anybody who is coming to work in the rice mill.
Since the work must be done, and these women, who are mostly the uneducated, are readily available to do them, the onus lies on those who hire them to pay them well and ensure their safety with the provision of protective gears such as the face mask, and for relevant agencies to ensure its implementation. After all, the society owes the women and the vulnerable maximum protection. In Abakaliki, Uche Chukwu Chibweze, NTA News.
That's a tough one there, and it is hoped that the men will begin to live up to expectation in their families. And talking about living up to expectation, the death of the popular Abia-born gospel artist Osinachi Nwachukwu, who allegedly died from physical abuse, suffered in the hands of her husband, has again served as a pointer to the traumatic experiences some women pass through in their marriages. Opinion molders in Abia State, who lamented the endemic nature of this crime, urged all stakeholders to collectively take action that will serve as deterrent to other violators. Nneka Onu reports.
Marriage is the coming together of two persons for companionship. With this intention in mind, why then do domestic violence occur in some homes?
Before one enters into marriage, there should be mutual understanding between the two parties, that is the man and the woman. And where we have lack of understanding, lack of maturity, then domestic violence may be the order of the day.
When some men don't understand that women are not their subordinates, they are there to help them also achieve their goal and purpose in life. And the man maybe want the woman to behave the way he does or the way he wants, but forgetting that this woman has a different makeup. So it can cause also abuse in marriage.
Domestic violence, respondents say, has become prevalent in many homes, and the worrisome aspect is the psychological impact on the victims and their children.
In future,
those children will never forgive that man. They will not love the man. They will not, at old age, they will not be, taking care of the man.
On the place of religion in violence in marriages, some clergymen say God frowns at it.
Abuse in marriage is not sanctioned by Christianity because the foundation of Christianity is laid on Christ. And Christ himself says, in the beginning it was not so. When they brought the issue of abuse in marriage, he said it was not so from the beginning, which means it is not allowed at all.
And what does the Bible say? It says, husband, love your wife as you love yourself. And then wife, submit to your husband.
Respondents are of the view that marriage is a union of two people from different backgrounds. As such, they should go through courtship for a better understanding of each other. However, if it doesn't work out, the couple should go their separate ways, rather than engage in violence, which sometimes leads to death. In Aba, Neka Ono, NTA News.
Well said, Uneka. Domestic violence should not be tolerated, whether at home or anywhere. Now, the passing of gospel artist Osinachi Nwachukwu is still fresh, and the circumstances surrounding her demise remain a major subject of discourse. Now, that's for the public. But for the family, it's still a river of tears flowing. Francis Form was at the police headquarters Abuja and personally witnessed one of such sober moments as the Minister of Women Affairs, Paul Ntalin, came with family members of the deceased to see the Inspector General of Police.
On the minister's entourage to the post headquarters is the twin and younger sister, children of late Osinachi Nwachukwu and other family members. Twin's sister to the deceased could not hold back her tears, citing the husband to the deceased.
I'm here with a very heavy heart.
Women Affairs Minister Dame Pauline Talon demands for swift justice and the protection of the deceased children.
Committed. Our heart is broken. Otinashi's death is one out of so many that we cannot let go. We are here with my team and members of the family to thank you for your efforts so far, to hear the progress of what you are doing over this matter, and to demand for swift justice.
The police have approached the National Hospital.
IGP Usman Alkali Baba said the suspect is in police custody, undergoing interrogation and providing useful information to the force.
Information from sources of the family fingered her husband, Mr. Peter Nwachukwu, as being responsible for the death, and if found to have committed this, he will certainly be prosecuted. We assure you it will be swift as much as possible, and we will leave no stone unturned.
The IGP reiterated the commitment of the force to ensuring cases of this nature, including domestic violence, rape, and other social vices, are accorded utmost attention with a view to bringing the perpetrators to justice according to the provisions of extant laws. Francis from NTA News.
We do hope that justice is served in this case and all other cases of domestic violence. Now, in other news, well-coordinated partnership with other navies around the world recently led to the removal of Nigeria from the list of piracy-prone countries. Chief Staff Officer, Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Hamza Kauje, while paying host to the Chief of the Atlantic French Naval Forces in Lagos, said to beef up performance, other areas of partnership are on the consideration table. Hingano John Adams reports.
Another milestone in the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and France. The Nigerian Navy and Atlantic French Naval Forces are using their connecting point, the Atlantic Ocean, to strengthen their collaboration towards sanitizing the hydrographic domain, especially the Gulf of Guinea. Their common objectives of ending piracy, trafficking, pollution, and securing the maritime space took prominence in their discussions. Chief Staff Officer, Western Naval Command, who recalled the long-standing relationship between the two forces, requested that Nigeria be made a vessel spare parts hub in the region, as many Nigerian Navy vessels are from France. This, he said, will contribute to the nation's economy, address the issue of delay in repairing vessels, which will in turn foster the fight against maritime crimes.
Nigerian Navy is forced to deal with anybody. No matter how highly placed that person is or that group is, we are ready and we are out and we are prepared to make sure we stamp out crude oil theft.
For the Chief of the Atlantic French Naval Forces, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, a threat to maritime security, needs a holistic approach to be nipped in the bud.
We are conducting a common exercise with some countries of this region, Nigeria included, and the main objective is this exercise today is to foster our capability to fight against the IUU fishing.
This collaboration is expected to secure the maritime space not only in Nigeria, but the continent at large. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the identities of the NAF pilots who died in the crash at the 401 FTS NAF base, Kaduna, during training have been confirmed. Flight Lieutenant Abubakar Alkali and Flight Lieutenant Elijah Karatu were both students and not instructor and student, as earlier reported. The two officers were among NAF pilots who returned from Pakistan in April 2021 following a 6-month training in basic flying, among other courses. Nigeria has experienced 11 military plane crashes, with no fewer than 33 military officers perishing between 2015 and 2021 and losing air platforms, including F-7NI jet and Augusta Westland helicopter, among others. In 2021, the Nigerian Air Force lost at least 3 jets. They were the Beechcraft King Air 350I, which went down with all 7 crew members on board in Abuja on 21st February. The Alpha jet, which went off radar on 21st March, and another which crashed in Zamfara while supporting troops. 2021 also witnessed the crash of the NAF jet conveying Nigeria's 25th Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 other officers on board at the Kaduna Airport. Meanwhile, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, has visited the 401 FTS Kaduna and commiserated with families and colleagues of the departed, giving assurance of investigating the cause and ensuring the adoption of stricter measures which would avert such air mishaps. In other news, the full wrath of the law will be coming down hard on motorcycle riders who do not wear crash helmets, as the officers of the Federal Safety Corps will soon commence arrest. Corps Marshal Federal Safety Corps Boboye Oyemi made this known during the visit to the office of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment towards the escalation of local production of safety helmets in the country. Oyemi Ajayi brings us details.
Studies conducted by the United Nations reveals that motorcyclists are 27 times more likely to die and 6 times likely to be injured in road crashes than passenger vehicle occupants. The earlier visits of the United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy on Road Safety John Todd to Nigeria, however, tied this assertion to refusal to put on crash helmets as major cause for this. This meeting between the Federal Road Safety Corps and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment is to begin the implementation of some of the decisions during Todd's visit, which is to heighten the local production of safety helmets in the country. This is in alignment with the specifications of the United Nations Regulations 22, which has been domesticated in the National Road Traffic Regulations 2012 as amended.
One of the complaints when it comes to enforcement will be high prices, but if we don't look at it, this will bring down the cost. And from what we are have seen the U.S. General Special Envoy is still ready to assist Nigeria, and African Union too. They said they are ready to assist Nigeria as part of the technical aspect and all what it takes. You head of the team agreement, Director IDG, and let us put a team together and liaise with the technical chief of the
The Corps Marshal says the Corps will continue to engage motorcycle operators on the need to wear helmets at all times and also provide for their passengers. At the end of the meeting, it was resolved that a tactical team made up of FRSC and the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment should be constituted to contact the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Abuja. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
In the next segment of News Extra comes the attention on the dangers and all the downsides of plastic waste and the need for proactive action to save the environment, wildlife and humans. Stay tuned to News Extra as there is still much more to come your way when we come back from the next break.
We all have battles. We all have stories. But only the best will make Globe Battle of the Year Nigeria. The search for Africa's most creative dance talent.
Dear friend, how are you? I can smell the goodness of Easter around you. But wait a minute. Do you know you can enjoy Easter in luxurious comfort like never before? Because this Easter, Bedmates Furniture invites you to discover new levels of comfort with furniture that brings life to your home. Seriously, now is your last chance to have a memorable Easter and beyond. From 21st March to 20th April 2022, get furniture you love at unbelievable low prices with free gifts in our showrooms. Hurry now before others choose the finest units you want.
Welcome to BBC Podcasts.
Just being on the podium and hearing your national anthem played, that's what you compete for.
What if you could copy the desert's most famous animal to design a more environmentally friendly building?
If Kim Jong-un trying to train a young generation of warriors in a new frontier, cyberspace.
Explore new worlds together with podcasts from BBC News World Service.
I find the strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. I know they worry, 'cause I know that you there by my side. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you. You show me love. You show me. No matter when I show you. You show me love. You show. No matter when I show you. You show me love.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Available in a big 100-gram tube and a small 25-gram tube.
Introducing an all-time mega offer. Get over 50% discount in the Airtel Home Broadband mega offer. Buy a router for just 10,000 naira and get up to 240 gigabyte or a MiFi for 5,000 naira and get up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. more data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you think of fruit juice and all the goodness that comes in it, think Chivita. It is many years of trust, quality, and all the goodness of fruit poured into one lovely pack, specially made for you. There is more to choose from. Whatever your preferences are, there is a Chivita for you. If you love an active life, or you just want to relax and unwind, if you are the cool dude, or simply want to try something refreshingly different, however you want it, there is a Chivita for you. Oh, yes. Check out our new Chivita Smart Malt Drink. Energy to learn, energy to play. So, what's your Chivita?
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets. With Panadol's Optizol formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets.
Welcome back. Those who ought to know are asking Nigerian youths to look inwards, stay positive, and explore vast opportunities in the country to be self-reliant. This was at the graduation of the 6th Search Inward Social Ambassadors. Joseph Osen was there.
Aisha Gumbe is serving the National Youth Service Corps, but she is one among those who before now had little hope and belief in Nigeria due to economic and security challenges. Today, her perception is positive and she sees better opportunities in the country.
We did those of education. We went to school. We saw kids. We taught them. We saw how, the state that they were in. We went through social ethics and values. This has helped me personally have more empathy and selflessness.
A 9-month Search Inward program where these set of National Youth Corps members were trained on leadership skills, volunteerism, and patriotism is what has changed the mindsets of Aisha and others who are now looking up to being successful entrepreneurs and impact better in the society.
I see humility as something that will take us far.
One of the things I would like to do is anything that relates to recycling and reuse of most of our waste.
Over 80% of startups, small and medium enterprises, fail within the first year of their establishment. And that is why SISA is set up to help create leadership capacity within the youth.
We have a lot of brain drain, and we know that if we don't keep our own youth, we don't keep all these resources going out into the world, we'll not be able to get anywhere in this country.
This SISA, in partnership with NYSC program, is aiming at projecting the positive image and potential of the country for the younger generation to invest their talent for future development. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Indeed, there's so many opportunities in Nigeria, and I'm sure Musa Abubakar agrees with me. All right, so let's have business.
Okay. Well, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is introducing a new approach to sustain foreign earnings for the country as it champions the campaign for export survival. Optimizing the potential of Nigeria's non-oil export has been the goal of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council's continuous effort to leverage on the gains of the sector. The latest is the launch of Export for Survival campaign targeted at maximizing opportunities in emerging markets.
If you look at the exports vis-a-vis the import, you will know that there's a wide gap. Our import bill is about $22 billion as against $3.6 billion for exports. We have to wake up and ensure that we bridge that gap. And that's what we're doing. You can't add value without power. We can't add value without infrastructure. That's very key for us. It's very key. I mean, anybody can tell you that.
The council hinted that the forthcoming national conference will create more awareness on non-oil export. The executive director, NEPC, Dr. Ezra Yakusak, emphasized that the conference will x-ray issues disrupting non-oil export in the country, sustainable market access to global markets, and adoption of measures to strengthen institutional capacity for effective trade facilitation. And now to spring meeting, the International Monetary Fund IMF says middle and low-income countries must prioritize food security, expand social safety net for the poor, as well as improve efficiency of spending to address economic shocks. This is some of the recommendations proffered by the multilateral organization at the sidelines of the 2022 IMF World Bank Spring meetings.
Really, you have to make tough choices, and here it will be really reprioritize spending towards helping these most vulnerable, ensure as much as possible that everyone has access to food. And at the same time, you're going to have to also cut in other areas, try to improve the efficiency of spending and raise revenues where needed. First, to address these more urgent needs, but also to address the long-term considerations, for example, reducing debt, but also pursuing the development goals.
And at the capital market, the equities market in Nigeria closed on a positive note this Wednesday, recording a second day of gains in the week. The NGX All-Share Index inched up by 1.25% at 48,138.71 basis points as market capitalization increased to 25.95 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 349.5 million shares valued at 3.69 billion naira in 4,587 deals. Universal Insurance, Zenith, and Fidelity Bank are the top performers for the day. Well, that's business news. It's back to you, Yuri.
Many thanks, Musa. Now, plastic waste is a pervasive problem in Nigeria that endangers humans, wildlife, and causes recurrent floods. Therefore, stakeholders must take concrete steps to curb this problem and the attendant danger it poses to the climate. Chidebere Onya reports on solutions for plastic pollution in the country.
Plastics litter all nooks and crannies of major cities and towns in Nigeria. The most common are plastic drinking bottles, plastic grocery bags, and plastic food containers. Unlike in most advanced countries, where plastics are discarded responsibly, Nigerians have been caught up with a throwaway culture that treats plastics as non-valuable item rather than a valuable resource to be harnessed. Experts say the overbearing socioeconomic, environmental, and health implications of poor plastic waste management in Nigeria can no longer be ignored.
If you go around the coastal state, you see that the women that go fishing now, instead of getting, fish with their net, they are getting plastic and so on. So the thing is that we're going to start, putting them in the plastic, value chain.
Don't look at plastic waste as one single stream. Within that garbage, you have opportunity for 3 or 4 different value chains to be created. I mean, there's the obvious PET, the plastic bottles, where recycling is already in play.
You want to make waste to become a resource. When you are doing that, you'll be reducing carbon dioxide emission, thereby reducing the effect of climate change.
Reduction, reuse, recycling, waste conversion to energy, and appropriate policy framework for plastic control are some approaches to tackle the ugly developments.
We should also look at the economic aspect of it by picking up these things, coming back to recycle them, and then use them to have other products, have other items. And of course, it is going to also be engaging people economically and reduce the level of unemployment also.
Another person's waste may be another person's raw material. And so they should have a designated area where they keep their waste.
The need for attitudinal change by Nigerians towards proper waste disposal is also advocated for more sustainable and friendly environments. In Port Harcourt, Chidebere Onya, NTA News.
Honestly, plastic waste should be dealt with, especially as we move into the raining season. Now, so far, so good, but not so with those who are hooked on drugs. The piece of our correspondent is a must-watch for those who wouldn't want to go that lane and others who are in need of help. This and more after this next break we're about to take.
Don't just wake up your child. Wake up the champion in them. Give them energy to help them win every day with Milo at breakfast. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. We know happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey,
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I talk with that now.
By Glow. A new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively with Professor Umar Garba Dambata, Executive Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC.
We have unveiled the 622 as a toll-free line through which consumers can be able to lodge their complaints. And we have introduced the 112 as a national emergency number.
This edition is a compendium of mind-blowing stories for your reading pleasure, ranging from technology, entertainment, economy, media, politics, family, and lots more. Pick up your copy and get abreast with issues and trending features within our space. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Thank you for staying. Let's take this report just reaching us. The presidency says the pardon of former governors Joshua Dare, Jolly Inyame and others was in line with constitutional provisions. In a statement, the presidency explains that the constitution enjoins the president to exercise his powers to grant any person concerned with or convicted of any offense created by an act of the National Assembly a pardon. The statement says the pardon was also in line with the recommendations of the report of the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy, constituted in 2018. Now, operatives of the Cross River State Police Command has uncovered vandalized train rail line at a Chinese company at the Calabar Free Trade Zone. Commissioner of Police Aminu Al-Hassan disclosed this to NTA News in an exclusive session in Calabar. Ode Alenyo completes the report.
Team of police operatives led by Commissioner of Police Cross River State stormed the establishment to uncover the vandalized train rail line facilities.
This is what we call a national sabotage. So much is being invested in railway. If this thing is allowed to continue, we will never get a country that we call our own.
Although, as at the time of this visit, the management of the company are at large, the Commissioner of Police directed police operatives to move the facilities to police custody.
And the business of kidnapping or business of robbery is not a good business. People should desist from it. And whatever we do in police and in other security agencies, we will do it to ensure that people are discouraged from partaking into any criminality.
In Calabar, Ode Alenyo, NTA News.
Now, let's talk about something really serious. There may have been some misperceptions on the subject of drug use in Nigeria, but for a large chunk of users, the struggle is real. And those with this problem may sometimes feel they are left to fight a battle they cannot win alone. Abdulmalik Hassan tells us why.
This is a typical example of how it works, but the long-term effect is worse and devastating for addicts. This spot is said to be a drug trade point in a community in Suleja, Niger State. The location is close and works for Mohammed, a tailor and self-confessed drug user. His poison is a blend of banned substances like cannabis sativa and prescription drugs such as codeine syrup and tramadol. I have reached the stage that if I don't take drugs, I can't work, even though I wish to stop.
Well, majority of them are criminalized, especially by law enforcement agents. Well, some experts say that these people deserve to be cared for, deserve treatment.
But it may be difficult to grasp the full extent of damages caused by consistent drug abuse or drug disorder to a person either affected or impacted. Anan here understands that too well. Today, he is sober, but he never forgets the hard fight and tough experience undergoing rehabilitation.
I just made up a decision for myself that I didn't want to be destructive anymore and I didn't want to hurt the people around me, and I wanted to be focused on what I was trying to achieve in my life. Then afterwards, I had a conversation with my parents and then I went to a rehabilitation center.
He says it takes at least 15 minutes to relapse, but getting busy with a task at hand could be a healthy distraction and lifesaver. We may have busy streets and roads, maybe even oblivious of what some are struggling with in their lives. But there are many in society with substance abuse-related problems, inhibiting their prospects at being the best they can be in life.
We probably have 3,000 beds collectively in all the treatment centers in the country. And if that means if we are maximally treating people, we could probably treat 12,000 in a year. But our statistics shows that we have 3 million people that are dependent on drugs currently. And if you're saying 20% of them are actively seeking treatment, you're saying 600,000 people want treatment. And if you can only treat 12,000 per year, that means it'll take us 10 plus years to treat that number.
To circumvent treatment and possibly reduce the high cost of rehabilitation, the authorities are opting for proactive measures that promote abstinence in order to curb high incidence of drug use and abuse among Nigerians. For instance, a periodic drug test has been suggested by NDLEA for students in schools.
If you as a student, you know that your admission in school will be in jeopardy if you are tested positive, what will you do? You will not use drugs. So it's a drug demand reduction strategy. It's not necessary to kill your hopes in school, but you will be sent for counseling and rehab. Not all of them need to go to rehab. So we've advised universities to set up counseling centers.
Yet again, is the Hydra-headed issue of trafficking. The arrest and prosecution of drug traffickers are key to drug demand reduction in Nigeria. And lately, the news is replete with the increasing number of arrests made by NDLEA and methods used by traffickers. Another key question needing answer is what happens next to those arrested. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdulmalik. quite revealing report there. Now, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has called on Muslim faithful to use the period of Ramadan fast to intensify prayers for lasting peace and development of the country. The First Lady stated this during the breaking of Ramadan fast in honor of the wives of top government functionaries, wives of service chiefs, and other Nigerian women. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
The Ramadan fast, as one of the 5 pillars of Islam, provides opportunity for the intensification of prayers for the fear of Allah, as well as extending good virtues of sharing, forgiveness, love, peace and sacrifice for the betterment of the Muslim Ummah and the larger society. The gathering of the annual iftar for breaking of Ramadan fast, put together by the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, is a step towards expressing gratitude to God for witnessing this year's Ramadan fast and to collectively use the period to pray for a peaceful nation with optimism of benefiting its bounties.
Fasting signifies the unity of mankind as it reflects sharing the pains of hunger and the joy of nourishment. The period of fasting signifies spiritual cleansing while bridging the differences among people, bringing them together to share, understand, and respect each other's religion. In this respect, our coming together this evening offers us the opportunity to collectively offer prayers over the challenges confronting our nation. It's always a joy to come around others. It's an opportunity for her to express and teach her desire for unity among the women. I know it has been a season of fasting and prayer, and all I can say is may all that has been done be accepted by God, and may God reward the sacrifice that everyone has put in to fast.
The wives of the service chiefs, headed by the president of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association and wife of Chief of Army Staff Salamatu Yahya, as well as wives of ministers, expressed gratitude with this gesture and assured the First Lady of their commitment in total devotion and to continue to put in every effort towards ensuring lasting peace in the country.
It's not been an easy time and easy years with the COVID and everything that has happened. I remember last year we couldn't do this. The year before we couldn't do this. But we give thanks to the Almighty that we're here, we're in good health. We are taking another election year. Let us use this opportunity during breaking our fast to pray so that God will give us another good leader that will step into the shoes of our father. She's a very good example. She taught us how to live and how to love and how to celebrate. And on behalf of the beautiful women of Nigeria, we say that God bless you and replenish.
They assured her of extending the message for a peaceful nation. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Our last break is due, and when we return, it will be time for us to talk sports. See you in a jiffy.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as the elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within, and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
So Manchester City regained the leadership in the English Premier League after a 3-0 victory over Brighton Hove and Albion as Arsenal rekindled their European Championship struggle with an emphatic 4-2 victory over Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. For more on sports updates, let's join Kene Imagwadike.
The
Following the draws for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, Nigeria Super Eagles will battle their counterpart from Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau and Sao Tome and Principe, or Mauritius, in Group A. The two top finishers in each of the 12 groups will qualify for the 2014 Continental Tournament slated for June 23 to July 23, 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire.
We need to assemble as urgently as we can, start with the home-based teams and see where we take it to. I don't want us to dismiss any country. We could be shocked. We could be shocked. And if we don't prepare well, that means we're preparing to fail.
Right now, the NFF needs to put their house in order, get us a coach and start rebuilding. We have the players that can not only qualify for the African Cup of Nations in 2023, but can go ahead to win it.
Golfers from 6 countries, including Nigeria, will compete for honors in the 2022 IBB Golf Captains Cup, holding at the IBB Golf and Country Club, Abuja. A total of 550 golfers, both professionals and amateur, will take part in the tournament, which signals the end of tenure of the present executives of the club under the leadership of Captain Emmanuel Anosike.
This is the first time we'll be having a kind of pro-ham for captains exit. It's arguably the biggest in the last few years.
The course is playing very well now. The greens are lush and the fairways are looking very green. So I want to believe that the players are in for a good time on the golf course.
Meanwhile, in tennis, Russian and Belarusian players will not be allowed to compete at Wimbledon this year because of the invasion of Ukraine. Players from both countries have been allowed to compete on the tennis tour, but not under their national flags. Recall that the Women's Tennis Association, WTA, and the Men's Association, ATP, have suspended their combined event scheduled to take place in Moscow in October, just as the International Tennis Federation, ITF, has also cancelled 8 events in the country. That's Sports Update. I am Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
The Akintokumbo family has announced the burial of Pope Joseph Akinyele Akintokumbo, who died at age 91. A statement by the family indicates that the deceased made a remarkable mark in his career, having worked in various capacities in the oil sector. He will be buried on Friday, April 2022, by 10 in the morning after a church service at St. David's Anglican Church, 12 Okesuna Street, Lafiaji, Lagos. Reception will be at the Church of the Pentecost Anglican Communion Hall, 2nd Avenue, 21 Road, Festac Town, Lagos. Let's now take a quick peep at the weather prospect for Thursday.
Thursday's weather is expected to experience partly cloudy atmosphere with spell of sunshine over the northern region, but slim chances of thunderstorms activities very early morning of Thursday over southern Adamawa, southern Taraba, part of Plateau, Kaduna, Mina, and Kwara axis in the morning, and the stretch of the coastal belt of Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Lagos axis. There are strong chances of late afternoon, evening thunderstorms activities over part of the northern region, the north central state, the inland cities of the south, and the stretch of the coastal belt of the country. I remain Suleiman Gurin. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.
And that concludes News Extra tonight. Many thanks for watching. And please remember to speak up and take action against rape and rapists. I'm Yen Ray John. Have a good night.